Hello, welcome. Thank you for everybody coming. Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. I started a little bit early today. Um, I find that I struggle with this time stuff a lot more than I ever did before. That's one symptom, by the way. It's that time slippage kind of experience where we don't really. I believe very much that we're in such a higher frequency as well as operating in this other space that we had been all this time, or we have been, but I guess you can call it the 3D experience, that we feel kind of stretched, and time, the way that we understand time anyway, only exists here in this dimensional frequency space that we are in the 3D sense. So time has been very strange. I just want to say welcome to everybody. Paulston's here. Jacques Aranda Marie had posted earlier, and I'm sure she's going to join at some point. It's good to see you. Fenya, hello. Be beautiful. It's so great to see you. Nanad, I think that's how you say your name. Welcome. Hello. Um, so before I get too distracted and move on, tomorrow there is going to be a Zoom meeting. I didn't realize I hadn't made a proper announcement. So the um, moving into just the next little bit here, we're not doing Sundays. So we're actually expanding our normal 2 hour meetings that are on Tuesday and on Friday to 3 hours instead of two. So that kind of to try to make up for that. Um, and then in the future for sure we're going to move back into that. I just found myself, I keep being given the visions that I needed to outreach more, and I just didn't have the time to do that with doing so many meetings in the week. So however, we will be going live every Monday for the next little bit. um, Hello everyday haiku, welcome. Vancouver Island, nice. I'm also I'm near to you. I'm in the inland Washington State space. Jacaranda Marie, thank you. So good to see you. So the sense I got before I came on was that, oh, by the way, tomorrow's Zoom meeting starts at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and will go for 3 hours. So it will go until 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's a you can join late or leave early if you need to. It's expanded that way so we can reach a wider audience for people who can only come in for a short time. There is something else happening. A lot of people are experiencing this. It's similar to Dark Night of the Soul. In very many ways, it is the Dark Night of the Soul. And for those of you who don't know what that is, um, basically, there are places inside of us, whether it be in memory, in experience, lingered emotions, things that we've chosen as we have developed and been conditioned in this experience that we're living in now. Um, to kind of prune off of ourselves, and as we prune those characteristics, those personality traits, then they kind of go someplace else. They're unacknowledged. And it was actually, I think it was Freud who coined the phrase dark night of the soul, but it's not as dark as it sounds. It feels like it when you get in it, because there's a lot of things that we haven't addressed before for a long time. We've ignored intentionally. And as we do that, we kind of imprison that energy, that experience in that space until we acknowledge it and let it move on. And so a lot of us are having this for ourselves, and many others are having it for others. It's ancestral healing 5.0. I don't know how else to say it. It's pretty amazing experience that's happening. And as it's coming in, all we have to do to be okay in that space is to acknowledge it. It's to see it. We don't have to own it. We don't have to pull it into ourselves and judge it and say, this is part of my identity. This is who I am. It's simply, you existed, and I appreciate you, because that, whatever it is, needed to be part of your experience in order to get to where you are now, and so it truly did serve you at some point, and then as we send thanks and gratitude to it without judgment, we then release it with love. Just send the I love you energy out to it, and so as these are coming through, some people are even interpreting them as psychic attacks. And they may or may not be that. I've found that a lot of these individuals I've talked to have come to the realization just in this conversation about what's happening, about these healings, that perhaps they weren't having psychic attacks at all. It just knowing what it might be, it makes it different. It changes the experience and turns it to more positive for one, but then also gives you the ability, the tools that you need to face it or to heal through it. A lot of us came in here with a whole gamut, a whole list of things that we wanted to, traumas that we chose to experience. And it's not because we like to beat ourselves up. We heal through each thing. And while we do that, we're healing through every one and every other energy that also had similar experience that were unable to heal through it themselves for whatever reason. We're the special ops team that's been sent in here. So that's just to have a little bit of clarity of what's going on with that. It just feels like it's really useful to know those types of things. If anyone has any questions, by the way, please type them in, and I will get to them. Adding a question mark, perhaps. Jacques Rana Marie says, "Sending so much love to you all. Thank you, high vibes. I love you, sister. I love you too." Mama Meow is from Arizona. And Fenya, much love, everybody. Nanad says, "Yes, I feel it for one day, like part of Dark Night. Yeah, part of the Dark Night of the Soul. It just has that. And you know what it truly is? The wording I've been given, I just kind of intuitively understood, is that it's more of the light being shown on the soul. I think that actually came from a channeling. The light being shown on the soul, because what it really is, it looks like a room or a house, place that you spent a lot of time that maybe you haven't cleaned up for a while. And maybe it's the attic we're talking about, but it's a space that there's not been light shown on it for so long that it's easy to ignore these things in the corners that kind of pulls us away from our true authenticity of being our true self. When we are attempting to fill in the blank by putting on masks or whatever, and posturing, we're pulling away from our true self. And that it's not great for anybody in the experience. And when we get to be our true, our authentic selves, our vibration raises. And that's why we're here, truly, is to raise our vibrations. And in turn, raising it for everybody else. Cool Deep, welcome. She says, "Oh, hello, everyone. Sending you all love from Canada." Jacques Rena Marie, yes, these tears coming out of nowhere seem like I'm crying them for someone else, not for myself. Thank you for explaining these feelings. I already feel better. Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. That is another point too, is this weeping. A lot of us are just weeping. And what's fascinating is it's the kind of, it feels good crying. It feels really, you can feel the healing happening while it's occurring. Not always are these tears, mournful or sad. I'm finding, being that I'm in this place of such joy most of the time, I am noticing this healing through some other sadness type stuff too, but that these tears are also coming through tears of joy, laughter, laughing so hard that it's the same kind of release as crying, but then you laugh even harder and then you end up crying because you're laughing so much. It's a really good release and healing experience. So those of you who, most of us have been conditioned for one reason or another to not cry in this experience, and we're finding that was the one thing that we needed to do. So for any of you who are not through that point yet, I'm excited for when you are. Al says, "Do you guys fast?" I don't do it on purpose. I do. My body kind of guides me that way. I've been, over the past 4 or maybe 5 years, I've really been paying attention more to my body's language, which has helped in a lot of these ascension symptoms. Your body's been talking to you for a lot of years and kind of conveying what it wants and doesn't want, and giving you clues. A lot of these weird body areas, like all of a sudden there's an energy or a pain or something like that. You can actually look it up. What does the liver mean? What does the kidney mean? What does the heart mean? What does and it'll show you the emotional relation that you have to that thing. And lots of times that's what we need to heal through. So to answer Al's question, I have learned, I've known for years that eating breakfast made me sick. I felt ill for at least an hour after eating breakfast. And then I just stopped requiring it of myself. It was the healthiest meal of the day, right? But it wasn't for me. And so I allowed myself to not have to eat breakfast. And after some time, maybe a year, I found that I was skipping lunch too and not even realizing it. Having just not really noticed hunger. And so I'll eat like once a day, or I won't eat until later in the day. It's called intermittent fasting, where you fast for 18 hours a day or so. And sometimes I eat more than that. Sometimes I am into breakfast, but and as a result of that, often I will skip multiple meals and then find I look back and go, oh, I haven't eaten for a couple of days. That happened once for a whole month. I was drinking teas and juices, lots of juices and stuff like that, but it's just that I didn't plan on it. So I call that unplanned fasting. I have noticed as well that when those fasting experiences happen, there's an intense, beautifully intense spiritual upgrade occurring or about to occur. And my body is naturally preparing itself for it. So that's really cool. If you look back at some of the old Tibetan and Buddhist type teachings, that's usually what they always do, is they go through a period of fasting before some type of rite of passage or spiritual upliftment that's scheduled to occur. So that's Cool Deep says, I never planned to, but it happens. Yep. She's a lot of different people fasting. When you're bringing in more light, you just don't feel the desire to eat. That's true. And remember the water too, as well as the juice. That was something that was brought up our last live event. And that's really important to remember, that there's a couple different, it's 12:12 here. There's a couple different ways, or the different kinds of thirst that we have. I believe Corey brought it up last time. And so just listen to your body. If you're noticing you're still thirsty, you're just like almost not panic, but just, wow, I just cannot quench my thirst. Try juice, try some kind of tea. A lot of times that assists us. So, hi, Carmen, welcome. Good to see you. And Well-Being Navigator, yay, finally made it live. Thank you for coming. Sapphire says, I went through hell for a decade. Didn't realize it was dark night of the soul until now. Thought I was going crazy. Is it possible for dark night of the soul to last 10 years? Yes. Unfortunately, I think that the trick of that, honestly, is knowing that that's what you're doing. Because when you're in it and you don't know you're going through a dark night of the soul, then it seems like you can't finish it. I don't know how to explain it other than saying that. When I found out there's a word for it, I had a series of dark nights of the soul. I could see there was a break in the middle, so that you could see there was a couple of them, but I hadn't really done it. The solution to the dark night of the soul is shadow work. There are a lot of different videos and guided meditations to assist you in shadow work, but that's basically going through a series of gates visually in meditation that descend into a place. And so the one I really like a lot is where you go into a forest and then you go through into the base of this tree, and through the base of the tree there is a door inside too. And as you descend those stairs, you start to see these parts of you, these things. Lots of times you'll meet your child self, other elements, things that just need to be seen. And so for any of you going through that, that's really assistive. Aaron Apke is another person that he was the guided meditation that I appreciated. I think I spelled his name right. And he had done a guided meditation. I'll put a link to that on the description of this video after this is done airing, to assist anybody who's interested. And Cool Deep said her lasted 7 years. So to answer your question, yes, it can. Mama Meow, our bodies know what we need more than our minds or a doctor does. Yes, for sure. However, please, if you're going through a series of experiences and you're not sure and there's a question about whether or not you are okay, please go seek medical attention. I do. Honestly, I do regularly. They think I'm a hypochondriac, I'm sure. I noticed not long ago, they even though I don't ever take any of their prescriptions, they started to mark me as a drug seeker because I want to know I'm healthy, and so if there's any question, I have learned that it's best to not be in a place of fear with it, because we are definitely the best healers for sure. But it's not a bad idea to go in and get checked, make sure that you're healthy. And because sometimes there are another underlying experience going on. So Jacques Anna Marie says, has anyone been experiencing nightmares recently? Looks like Sapphire says yes, since Friday. There is a change in dreams that we've been having here. It's not nightmares for us, but it's definitely deep stuff, like trying to bring back understandings that my brain physically can't process. And so it does feel overwhelming. And so, but for me, it's not really been nightmares. It's just been like unpleasant in that I feel like I'm being asked to do something I'm not capable of. And you know how that doesn't feel very good. But it sounds like other people are having it. And that is really common with Dark Night of the Soul experiences too. I have a really great friend that does dream interpretation. And he's always saying, using dream interpretation in your daily lives is just as useful as using it for dreams, because this experience that we're in is really it's a projection, this reality that we're in fact, we are now technically on New Earth, and it still looks a lot like this, and we're still hearing echoes a lot of this trauma and these other kinds of things that are occurring, but they're not occurring here. And so, using that dream interpretation, thesaurus or whatever dictionary that a lot of people will use to get idea what the symbolism means, not just in dreams, but in visions and in your experience in front of you. It's kind of interesting. You can find out a lot that way. But Carly says, hello from Cape Town. Recently came across your channel about 2 months ago, and I love your videos. Oh, well, thank you for joining. Carmen says, I have trouble focusing, but then again, I tend to blind stare everybody. Yeah, the focusing, visual, actual physical focusing, it's really bizarre. At first, it feels like you're coming out of focus a lot. And then you find that what's actually occurring is things are coming into focus. We're raising our vibrational frequency. So we were down here, which is a great place to be. And now we're slowly moving up even more, which is even cooler, I'd say. And we're just like there. So we're at this spot, this place where we can start to perceive, start to visually see other things that are before us. Like, whatever it is that's here. Often we're seeing things like orbs, light orbs, silhouette light of people's aura, all basically those types of things. But it's not just those other worldly light being things that we're seeing. We're also seeing like animals. I've seen a handful of critters that I've never seen before. They're not creepy, they're not scary, they're just Jurassic seeming, if that makes any sense. And it's fascinating because one or two other people at the beach saw it and others couldn't see it. And so that made me go validation and wow. And so I think what's actually occurring when we have this out of focus experience is we're seeing something that's already there. And then maybe it causes alarm, or we're trying to focus through it or whatever. And then it lets it go back out again. That's another point too, is that when we're raising in our frequency in our vibrational field and we're coming up here, as these things come in, a lot of times they're just for a split second. For me, that means, and I don't know how to solve that problem really, is that I'm startled by it. And so it just for that split second, it lowers my vibration just enough to not be able to see it. So also, if you're experiencing things that you don't want to experience, All you have to do is to remove your consent. I do not consent to this. I'm not okay with this. This is not going to happen. You have that power. You get to decide. This isn't like a freak accident that goes upside the head and hits you. You get to decide. As well as these ascension symptoms. The empowerment tool that I learned for that is I can turn it down. I will ask for, my special, whoever I prefer, archangel wise, into my experience. And I visualize, I let them know, this is too much for me. And then this helps me. I'll visualize a knob like on an old radio, and I'll turn it down, sometimes several notches. And it works. It really does. It's saying, I'm not capable of processing this right now. So, and it's not turning it off. You know what I mean? Like, you have that power. You can decide. So, yeah, it is really amazing energy. I'm really having a lot of, this is really cool. Thank you, higher vibrations, says Jacqueline Marie. That makes total sense. Sapphire says, I started seeing flashes, grids, orbs, hearing spirits, feeling electrocuted since 2012. I lost all my friends and family. Thought I was going crazy. I recently did a 40-day denial fast, and it helped. Wow. That's amazing. That's a long fast. I've never fasted that long before that I know of in this experience. That's the seeing those things at first does feel like you're crazy. And it's kind of one of the parts about the dark night of the soul, the shedding of people, of relationships. It's difficult. It feels sad. It's hard to say goodbye. At the same time, there's like this relief because we know it's been work. When relationships become work like that, we start to realize that they're not in harmony. We're not serving each other. We're pulling each other down and apart, in a lot of different ways that we don't need to do, and so the shedding of relationships, definitely, seeing those things, the grids, the first time I saw the grids, I was blown away to say it out loud and have somebody else say, I see it too, but to me at first anyway, it looked ghostly, like, the glow of an x-ray, when you're looking at a print of an x-ray, that just ghostly glow. And it looked like a chain link fence across the sky, night sky. And it's just really those types of things, seeing those things, and then realizing that no one else around you in your experience is having the same sensations. It can make you feel crazy. It can make you feel a lot of different things. But I'm really happy that you stayed on this experience and that you haven't given up. If it does help, know that a lot of us are also experiencing this heaviness. I haven't actually addressed any of my list, but I'm loving just talking with you guys. Yeah, it looks like a honeycomb. It's very much like a honeycomb. Like, and when I first started to see it, it was just the outline of it. And it was very hazy, like a cloud wisp almost. Like, I've noticed for me, every time things come into experience, they tend to look like that, wispy, like a cloud, like that glow of the x-ray. And then the more that I open to it and allow myself to experience it, the more pronounced it becomes, the more tangible, and even manipulative, being able to manipulate it, to move it, to change it with request, with intention. So it's really cool. So that the heavy thing, though, I just want to talk about that for a minute, because a lot of people are getting this. It's like, so we just had a series of gates that just occurred, and like a little over a week ago, it felt like it was already the winter solstice. For on the other side of the hemisphere, it's called the winter solstice, and it's not even here yet. And every day since then, it's gotten more and more pronounced. Same thing happened with Lionsgate this year. I think I felt Lionsgate 2 months early, or before it started. And so we were having that experience while all of this, we had the bookend eclipses, we had the 11/11 gateway just recently, and we're still lingering in those energies. And we're also getting the solstice energy coming in. This is not bad. This is all really good. This is raising the light and the vibration in this space right now. And while that's happening, as we take in all of this stuff, a lot of things are filtering through us because we are the great conduits, right? And so this stuff is filtering through us, stuff being baggage from long past lives, someone else's past lives, ancestral work, like we were talking about before. And as it's moving through us, it makes us feel like not just weak, like just heavy gravity, but also like emotionally, energetically, just like, whoa, it feels so heavy. Like I'm noticing my muscles are feeling weak, almost like gravity is heavier than it normally is, and there's a lot happening. We're I used to always assume that what it was is we were moving up, and what it looks like is we're pulling away what's down is really what's happening. And isn't that cool? I just saw that. They just showed it to me. That makes so much sense how it looks too. And we were saying that before about when we're leaving the parasites behind. There's a mass parasite removal call to remove parasites right now. We all have a lot of parasites. Team Body has parasites, right? And we work together. But then now we're moving away from this density, from this frequency that these certain parasites do well in. And so they're kind of needing to be asked to go so we can finish pulling away. It looks a lot like a tree trying to pull its root up out of the ground to move and walk. It's really cool though. Just to know that you're not the only one going through it. It's happening to a lot of people. The main solution I have found, I'm going to post a song into my community section a little bit after this. It's called The Breath of Ram, Breathe. That song, I don't know what it is about that frequency. It's beautiful. And I'll play that in the background while I've got Epsom salt in a bath and I'm soaking in it. You can do it with foot soak. You can even do it with your hands. That really helps. The Epsom salt is really assisting that experience right now. So Jacques Marie says, yes, when I first awakened in 2018, my head was constantly tingling, and I finally realized I could ask my angels to ease it up. I think we forget that we can ask, and we should. 100% should. And in fact, if you don't ask, they can't provide the assistance because we live in the law of free will. That is what reigns here. And so without giving consent, then unless it's an emergency situation, which has happened to most of us, where angels have come in and assisted us in a time of possible trauma. However, with these other things, we need to ask. They can't just step in, and so, and not only that, but they want to. They're so excited when you do ask. They're like, yay, I get to help you. And you're not taking the energy or the attention of any specific light being, archangel, whatever, from anyone else, because they're all omnipresent. It's the craziest thing. It sounds so bizarre to try to wrap your head around. Omnipresent, able to be in all places at once. And so you're not taking away from anybody else by doing it. I really hope that you do ask for help. They're happy to. Jeremy said, I'm so tired lately. Yeah. I think that's where I started that other conversation. I've been jumping around a little bit. Sorry about that. Charles says, when I look in the mirror and I see my higher self shining through, it's like seeing the orbs. Yeah, it is. When you see your true self, the true self looks a lot different than what we assume we might look like. And not to be alarmed at all. Like this is clothes. This is an outfit we chose to wear for time. And also the time that happens here for the other energy is like this in comparison to what it feels like for us. So you're putting on an outfit for a day is really what's occurring. Everyday Haiku says, I've been feeling the heaviness and super exhausted. Yeah. Jacques Marie, whoa, that makes so much sense about the heaviness, gravity as we rise. You blow my mind. Well, I'm glad I could help. It's fun to figure out what's going on, because if I know what's happening, then I can better understand it, experience it. I can better experience it. Like I feel I'm like that with everything. If you give me an expiration date or give me a time, or give me a name for something, and it's easier to do it. Fenya, hello. Can you explain more about our soul contract and how to become aware of this, of what this is? Well, soul contract is, so a lot of us have come in here with these. It's a contract. It's like the word that people have been using for a long time, and that contract is a lot more fluid than I ever thought or knew. It's, we decide if we want to continue our contract daily and often multiple times throughout the day. The difference is, so a soul contract is, this is what's going to happen when I go in. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to have this family and I'm going to, have this trauma, and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And you kind of get it all planned out. You're going to be the mom this time. You're going to be the, and then we all come in. And so there's these contracts, these agreements that we've made with other energies that have also been incarnated at that time. And however, for the longest time, we thought those contracts were solid, that you had to do those things, that you had to experience those things, and kind of blasted myself for having made those choices to begin with, and now we're at this place where we are realizing that we don't have to. And all you have to do is to declare it to yourself out loud and to those energies around you. I remove my consent. I am not consenting to, and then provide your list of the things that you're not okay with. I've been finding lately, a lot of us have had this experience. It's kind of fun talking to people on Zoom because you get to compare notes with a lot of other individuals that have had the same kind of things going on, either presently or something like that. And one of the experiences that a lot of us are having is that our mission is kind of being asked of us again. Do you want to do this mission? Is this a mission you want to do? Like, do you want to stick around here and keep doing this? Do you want to be one of the bridge people, or are you ready to ascend and move all the way on? And ascend is a different thing than from this ascension we're having. This experience is the first time this has ever occurred where, and I love that I'm starting to hear other people say this. It's so validating. You get a message all the time and then you finally hear someone else talk about it. It's like, but we are the first ever to ascend in the same lifetime, like ever. We're not talking about planetarily. We're talking about in all of the cosmos. Like, it's never happened. And that's why it's so exciting. And everything that we're doing right now is affecting all in the cosmos. And that's why they're all gathering around. Like, it's not that all of a sudden we're allowed, the government's allowing us to see UFOs. UFOs are deciding to show themselves, and like, there's a lot of different things that are occurring. And most of those UFOs, it's not called UFOs anymore. I can't remember what it's called. It's difficult for me to move to a different vocabulary when they change words around that you've had for your whole life. But they're here to be an audience. They're here in excitement and celebration. They're here to witness this amazing feat that's occurring. And so, as that's occurring, a lot of us are given the opportunity to, again, decide if we want to remain in this mission. Do you want to keep doing this? Is this something that you want to keep doing? You're not stuck. I chose yes, and like, I'm happy to do it. I love this. This is beautiful. I'm honored to be one of the bridge people. It's so cool. And then Jordan says, you mentioned shedding parasites. I've recently explored something again that you should call an addiction. It used to have a hold on me for a long time ago, but it no longer resonates. Awesome. Yeah. It's there's a lot of different means for shedding parasites, a lot of different ways to do it. Some of the things that we've been doing, I just recently led a meditation. Hey, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I always see that number lately. There's a shedding meditation I just recently did with a group of people, and I posted it on the Telegram group. For any of you who are in the Telegram group, I can post it again so you can have it available to you. But that did assist a lot of people. And then the meditation that we did on the 1111 portal. I also posted that, and that one has another version, another amount of shedding that occurs in it. It's very deep and intense meditation, I've been told by a lot of the people who did it. So um it's, if you're interested, I'll please join our Telegram group. The link for the Telegram groups in every one of my videos. I haven't did much of a description on this video yet. I'll add it to this one after we're done, if you're interested in that. Jenny says, when I was way too young to understand all these messages and feelings coming in, it scared me. I had to tell it to go away, and it did. Yeah, they do. If you ask, it will. And I had the same experience at a very, very young age. Those things are scary. It's like there's a lot of adult emotions being sent to you to try to help you hear a message that they're trying to get you, and it's freaky when you're little, So, hey, 34 watching 34 minutes at 2:34. Cool. That's so cool. Now that I'm older, Jenny says, and have been through more experiences, I'm ready and accepting. Awesome. Congratulations, Jenny. And the more that you consent to, the more will come in. And as things start to come in, if there is something that presents itself that you're not okay with, you can then remove that consent again. It's not a permanent thing. Nothing is permanent, and to claim your own sovereignty is one of the most empowering things and the most quick to eliminate anything that's occurring. That is one thing that some people have been having struggles with, and it's not true for across the board, though. If you don't remove your consent, sometimes individuals will have experiences with ETs or other types of energies that they aren't okay with until consent is removed. I don't consent to this. And so if you choose to, a lot of us can just say, anything that is not okay with me and you can say the types of things you're not okay with. I don't consent to any of these interactions. And put it out there in the cosmos, in the universe, stating that and claiming your power is eliminating any of this, like through the crack of the screen door kind of stuff. So if that helps at all. Jordan says, but sometimes the shedding feels like fuzzy energy moving through particular parts of your body for a week or two, and then your energy is clear and you embody a broader perspective. Yeah, sometimes that's a lot of what this heavy stuff is right now, I think. Thank you for saying that so well, Jordan. There's, as this stuff is moving through, I always look at it like a screen, and you have a hose, right? The water still gets out, but because of all of those barriers of the screen mesh that's on the window, it stops a lot of the water, and it just makes a mess. It still goes through, but it shakes and it creates this thing, which a lot of us are having a lot of twitching, and that kind of muscle spasmy kind of experience is also due to that in a lot of cases. Let's see. So, Esther, I hope I said your name right. Welcome from Hungary. Has anybody got moments of staring and feeling like you are in another dimension? Yeah, all the time. And we are. It's such a strange experience to coexist in these energy spaces, and we have already been doing it for a long time, but it's coming more into our awareness now. We're able to perceive it while it's occurring now. So it's a little bit, and it feels kind of like, sometimes for me, it's disorienting. So I feel like I'm not sure where to put my feet on the ground, It feels similar to that. And that often kind of pulls me back from it because I'm trying to figure out where to put my feet. I don't know how else to say it. So there's that disorientation. The other experience that is really common for me right now, I'll be having a chat like you and I right now. We're sitting here and just chilling, having a cup of tea, and I'll be in the middle of a sentence as I am now. And all of a sudden, I don't even notice the all of a sudden is that I have this hour, 2 hour, sometimes 5 hour conversation with another energy. Sometimes it's an energy I know. Sometimes it's people that I talk to on Zoom. Sometimes it's another energy that I'm familiar with, but I'm not sure why I'm familiar with it. That kind of a thing too. I notice it as that energy is moving away. Like, okay, we're done having a conversation. Bye. Kind of moving away. And then I realize I'm in mid-sentence with, Chuck over here or whatever, and I am supposed to know what I was saying, but I just had an hour, 5 hour long conversation. And so it's like, talk about losing, brain fart, or disorientation. The thing is now that I really fully understand the experience that's occurring, I don't have to go to a place of shame about it anymore, which is really helpful. Shame and guilt and those types of things are very close to the fear side of the spectrum. Remember, God's on the love side. God is the purest, most perfect love. And the opposite of that is fear. So the farther away from love we go, we don't derail our experience. We don't stop it, but it does slow it. It does give it, without that propulsion to move into that love space. So my big trick is trying to not be startled, not be, feeling shame and guilt about these types of things. A lot of us also apologize for our gifts, and isn't that the most bizarre thing when you think about it? Giving someone a gift, providing information for them, bringing them light language. That's the one I hear about the most. People apologize after they do light language, and kind of feel embarrassed about it or something like that. When something needs to come out, it does, and I'm not telling anyone to do or not do anything. I'm just noting the fact that isn't it ironic that we apologize for such things? I'm learning to not apologize. It's hard. It's hard for me. That is one of the things that I'm still working through is it's okay to be who I am. I'm okay with it, but I'll still do it. I just apologize after I do it. So it's kind of, um, Sapphire says, my vision is really clear today compared to the last few weeks. The vision stuff also, there's a lot of like draining of the eyes people are experiencing, like a goopy thing. I had that happen at one point. That was right before I started to see more of the light beings and stuff like that. It happens gradually for a reason. You're not meant to be alarmed. You're not meant to be in disharmony. It's supposed to be transition to slowly get you there and get used to being there. It's beautiful, and so that's why it takes as long as it does. A lot of us are frustrated in that experience as it takes so long. One of those things was the goop in the eyes, though. And as that happened, and then the blurry kind of experience, out of focus stuff, I started to see the filament covering everything. And you could see past it. It's pretty neat. Um, Another thing, too, a lot of people are having right now are these eye headaches. And not just physical eye, but third eye. And like weird stuff happening on the third eye area. A lot of us are getting activated right there. It's really interesting because in meditation, I've always felt guided, always up until not too long ago, being guided to bring in the light of God through my crown chakra. And that turned into bringing the light in through my heart chakra. And now I'm when I'm doing it, I'm noticing that I'm bringing the light from God down through my third eye and my heart at the same time, making this interesting loop that's occurring right now. So something's going on with the third eye for a lot of us right now. And because of that, we're starting to get to perceive more things. Also see things that are physical. A lot of archaeological discoveries are occurring across the world right now. In the very near future, we're going to start being told about more of them. And there's a lot more discoveries than they've let on. And I just know this because I've been told. The energies have told me this. And as those discoveries are happening, it's due to the fact that we are able to then see it. A lot of times, these things aren't just intentionally hidden from us, but simply in, right, hidden in plain sight because we can't see what it is. It's really cool. Jordan says, I hope everyone is doing well on their individual journeys. This energy is heavy and dense and does feel like being in multiple times and dimensions at once. It can be intense. It really can. Thank you for your lovely blessings there, Jordan. It really can feel overwhelming. It can feel disorienting. It can feel like you're going crazy. It can feel uncertain. It can feel all of these types of things. And then when you get to understand that what experience you're in, and that there's no reason to ask for forgiveness, there's nothing to forgive, that you are doing such a beautiful job, you are providing such a wonderful service to not just everyone on this planet, which is a big thing, but the transformation that we are creating right now collectively affects everyone. It looks so cool too. It looks like percussion waves. They're actual waves, but they look like as if you can see sound waves, the kind of waves, and it goes like this, and just wave, 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 all the way through the cosmos. You can see it wiggle the planet. You can see it move. It affects positively everyone galactically, like the world, the all. And that's by just raising your vibration, by being this space that you are. The cool thing about us is that we've already done this before. We know what to do. We know how to ascend. Not only do we know how to ascend individually, but we know how to ascend entire planets. This is something we've been doing for a long time. That's why we got chosen. When everybody raised their hand and volunteered, those of us who were chosen because you are the top dog in this part of in this mission, you're equipped. You got this. And so as we're doing this, we came in to change everything, that it happens automatically. Most of us literally are doing this in our sleep. We're actually doing all of the work on autopilot. The rest of it is to get past that conditioning of self, of that judging self. You shouldn't do this, or blah blah blah, to whatever it is, the stuff that we're told growing up, to kind of prune away our self-love, to prune away our self-forgiveness, to sacrifice and give away self, not leaving any self behind. That stuff is the stuff that's kept us from that vibrational space. When you're doing your mission, it feels like play. When you are doing your mission, that's the best part. What's my purpose? Be happy. Your purpose is to be in your highest joy. It sounds really easy, and it is eventually, but it's pulling away each of those layers that have cornered me at that time in my life. I had cornered myself into this experience where the repercussions of removing all of those things was just something that you might as well ask me not to require air to breathe in this body, and it's one thing at a time. And those things shed away naturally. They are being pulled away from us. Like the beginning of the dark night of the soul experience, where my shedding began, I was in full on resistance. Why? I'll just not be myself. I'll sacrifice this part of me and that part of me to keep this person in my life. And then it ended up being a relationship of resentment, and we're not talking about solely romantic relationships. They're family and friends and just other loved ones in our experience. And, as we shed those things and find ourselves in the place where we are giving ourselves permission to be our true self, we are typically able to find pretty quickly at that point, that place of play, your highest joy. Jordan says, Sapphire says, I've been sweating a lot, have been taking 3 to 4 showers a day. Sweating is a big one. Sweating and any other kind of purging. I'm having this sinus thing right now. And it's really interesting because there's no other symptoms of anything. It's that time of year. It could be a cold. But I've been having the sinus thing for a while, on and off. And it's like this purging experience. We're having weird acne, weird sweating, and the sweat. This is what's got me. The sweat doesn't seem like real sweat. It's different. It's it's dirtier feeling. It's not as, I don't know what it is. And it is definitely, I think for sure that we're pushing this stuff out, just like we do when we're getting this weird acne and these weird rashes and all this other kind of purging experience that we're having. Jeremy woke up in a puddle of sweat last night. There you go. And I've been sweating at night too, and I don't ever tend to do that. It's just this weird thing, and the sweat doesn't feel like real sweat. It's just kind of. And Jordan says, "You're welcome, guys. Slow and steady. Honor and love ourselves and the individual paths of those around us, and we'll make it through." Aho, 100%. You know, the one step at a time thing. A lot of us get these things. Okay, so our Archangel Sandalphon is this archangel that for me comes in with music. Always. It's always music. And it's usually only a few words of the song. It could be a song that I know well, but while it's a message that I need to hear, I can't sing the rest of it, whether it's out loud or in my head. And it drives me crazy. It's like this broken record. And right now, it's this silly, soon in the next little while, we'll start to see it on TV again because Christmas is coming soon. That Christmas animation, stop animation from like the 60s about the, I don't remember, it was a Christmas one, and they're trying to teach this guy how to walk, and he's like, one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. That song over and over, that part of the song over and over and over again, but it's one step. And that for me is telling me that we're supposed to focus on the moment, focus on the moment. And that's hard. That's hard. We have been conditioned and trained to look ahead, to plan ahead, especially since we use calendars and we got soccer mom stuff to do and appointments to keep and things like that. And so it's really hard to be in the moment, be in the now, and but after practicing, you find it's harder to be out there. Welcome, Jackie. Hello, good to see you. Um, so yeah, for sure. Um, let's see, I think I missed some stuff. Cheryl says, I experienced a horrific nightmare last night. Woke up and looked at the clock. It was 2:22 a.m. I called a friend to have someone to talk to. I'm glad you have a friend to talk to, Cheryl. Yeah, we just earlier in this conversation, we talked about people having nightmares specifically last night. Um, a lot of individuals I had some really heavy experiences last night, and so did my daughter. But a lot of other individuals are having nightmares right now. Waking up at synchronicity times or seeing synchronicities is another common ascension symptom. It was a thing growing up that we always noticed those on the clock. There were certain series of numbers you can make a wish, though it's now almost impossible to look at a series of numbers and not see a synchronicity. And often my 3 o'clock wake up time is 3:33 a.m. And it's just, I don't even look at the clock half of the time anymore, just knowing it's 3:33. I'm awake, and then I'm awake for an hour, and then I'm back to being, after I pulled in whatever's being given me right then. Often when we're waking up at that time, there's things coming in that we're trying to ground, trying to be given in some way. So if you choose to connect, especially in that sleepy state, it's easier to connect to the higher realms. Ask, bring in Archangel Michael is a good one. You know, bring in individuals and call on your higher self or your guides and say, hey, what's going on? What is it that you want to show me right now? Often I'm more annoyed that I'm not sleeping, and so I don't always ask what's going on. Jeremy woke up. Wait, I read that already. Where did I? Jenny says, wait, Jeremy says rotten socks. I don't. Oh, from the sweating, probably. Yeah. There's like all over, and also noticing stigmata. I don't know about any of you guys, but I'm getting blisters in right here on my hands, and then also the same spot on my feet. And I'm calling it stigmata because when the blister pops, it looks kind of like it's kind of funny. It's kind of an interesting thing. Jenny says the more I work on accepting myself, I feel closer to my purpose. I'm happy, but calm and hopeful too. That's beautiful. 100%. Like the judgment and the barriers that we've created have mostly been against self, a barrier of self. and all of this self-shaming and not like measuring up and stuff. In fact, a lot of these I didn't typically lead any group. I've never led a group meditation until the past little while here. I meditated frequently, but joining others into my private meditation never occurred. Not that it needed to be private, it's just a strange thing for me to do. I bring this up because almost always lately, doing those meditations, then there is an archangel who shows me people all have this measuring stick, this measuring stick stuck on their shoulder. And it's like, get that off of there. Come on. What are you doing? You're loved. Give it up. And a lot of us do that. We do. And there's one thing to compare each other in a way of getting validation. And then there's another saying, oh, well, I'm not doing that yet. So maybe I'm not as high as that person is and they're awakening or whatever. We are all equals on this experience. We are all teachers, whether or not you feel like a teacher. Honestly, I don't feel like a teacher. Jeremy says, oh, wait, I missed something here. Nanad said, me too, only at night. And Charles says, can this power be misused? I don't, the self-empowerment, there's something happened not too long ago that I experienced, and I don't know how to convey it in words very clearly, except to say those dark curses and magic stuff exist at one point and were potentially able to work. However, something changed and it doesn't work anymore. I've never practiced in those things, but I just felt that something got turned off, and it was like, don't even worry about that. The power of I would call a misused power in this is to not allow yourself to heal. That's really what's coming in right now. It's for you to heal. It's for you to step into this light that you are, and for you to be in this complete wholeness state. So I wouldn't say so. We still have the law of free will, and so there are individuals, I'm sure, that will attempt. I don't know. It's hard to believe that, though, at the same time, because of all of us that are on this journey are service to others and oriented individuals. So I don't know if I know how to answer that. And then Jackie said hi, yeah, and Poppy says hi. I'm from Ireland. Welcome. Fenya says, in your last meditation, the funny Arcturians came in. Me and my children were sitting on huge bathtub plastic duck with wheels under it, and we all had a light sword. We were playing catching a light ball. That's fun. Yeah, exhausted, Jackie. She says, I'm so exhausted today. Yes, everyone. It's this heavy, 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 like just, and it's not bad as it's moving through us. It's moving through us. And as it does, it's takes a lot of energy. It's taxing, so not just tired, but also feeling the physical sensation that gravity is heavier. And then there's also some heavy energies moving through us and out and finally being released. And while that's happening, we feel just even more, whoa. Cheryl says, thanks for that. That helps me. It is very rare for me to experience a nightmare. It was so terrible. I didn't talk about it. We just talked about good things. Oh, that's really cool that you have somebody to call. Yeah. And there's just a lot happening like that for people right now in our dreams as things come up. And also, like, a lot of individuals will feel something coming through, and we try to interpret it as being literal. Just something as a rule of thumb for me is the last thing that I do is take what I see literal. Most of what's before me is helping me to release something, to let something go, to assist me in removing my attachments to these experiences, these things, parts of me that needs to heal through something. A lot of us are still healing some of our past life experiences too, so things that you hadn't transitioned through, hadn't healed through, hadn't transmuted yet, come through in dreams as a reality experience. And as those things come through, they're just showing it to you in your current identity so you can address them and let them move on. A lot of them do very much feel like a caged animal. So it's like that, they're yelling at me and they're screaming at me and can stay away. But they're a caged animal. They just want to get let out. Once they're released back into the energy, the wild that they belong in, then they're at peace and they're beautiful. And so it's simply allowing that to leave, not to bring it to us, but to open the gate and let it be released away. And that's really a lot of what, that's the main chore for most of us right now in this experience. Jordan says, sounds like we are all having similar symptoms and experiences. I have to take off, but love to everyone and take care. Thank you for joining us, Jordan. Fenya, can you put your meditations on here on YouTube? I put one up not too long ago. I didn't get much. It didn't seem like many people really were interested in it, so I just I'm balancing out what time to give to what, and so if that's something that you would all be interested in, I'll do it. It just takes time to edit it and put pretty pictures with it and stuff like that. So if it is something that people are interested in, then maybe I'll put a poll up on my channel here and see if anyone would be interested in that. They're awesome and healed me so much. I'm really glad to hear that, Fenya. For those of you who are interested in them right away, you're welcome to join our Telegram group. I will put the link to our Telegram group at the in the description after this is over. There I've posted it's audio. I don't ever record our Zoom meetings, but I'll use my phone voice recorder only during the meditation part. And then once I'm done with the meditation, I'll post that to the Telegram group, because then you can send a large file with my phone that way really easily. So you can always find them there as well. Jenny says, Charles, I feel, that's for Charles, so I shouldn't answer. Poppy says, are chest higher heart vibrations coming right now? Yeah, in fact. So a lot of people don't maybe not know or haven't experienced before, but we have two hearts. There's an energetic heart, and then there's the physical heart. And so it's kind of fine when you start to perceive it, start to experience that heart. A lot of times we'll have heart palpitations, we'll feel like a flutter's happening, and even like it feels like maybe your heart's moving. And what's actually occurring is there's a relationship, a conversation that's occurring there. And so it can feel weird, but yeah, there's a lot happening with that. As we have been a society, a culture, or not a species in the third chakra for thousands of years or however long, for a long time, typically, not everybody. We had only recently moved through the heart chakra. This is kind of a thing that it's kind of backwards to say it to all of you, because most of you are more at home in the higher four chakras than you are the others. And that's just kind of how we tend to be. We've always been that way as a awakened being or an awakening being, whether or not you realize you're awakening when that was occurring. And so the lower three chakras is what actually is something that we need to work on, focusing on our root chakra, grounding, and things like that. And so we're feeling this energetic heart that we hadn't before, not just because it's coming online for us, but as a collective, people are finally have moved past the jog into the heart chakra. A lot of us are in the throat chakra again, having a lot of throat and mouth related symptoms. And this is solved by speaking your truth 100%. That's why we have these Zoom meetings every week. We are meeting every Tuesday and every Friday. So our next meeting is tomorrow. It starts at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and goes to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There is a link for that in my community section for anyone who's interested in joining that. This is a place where you can just speak, and it helps as we speak our truth in places that we're not going to be judged, that we can just be ourselves. It releases a lot of that and creates a healing in that chakra space. So I hope that anyone who's interested will join. Jackie says it's like non-functioning. I'm useless today. Yeah, really tired. there was part of me that was like, oh, I don't know why I decided to do a live today. If Cheryl says it felt real, not like a nightmare. I needed a friend to help me get back in reality. Thank you for helping me understand this. Yes, thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, there's more of us are realizing that we are having experiences that are not the dreams that we were always taught that they were. There's more going on. Astral, energetic. Hey, Faith joined us just in time. Faith, I'm just getting ready to close up. It's so good to see you here, though. Just going to answer a couple more. If you have any questions, please ask. Now, how's things going over there? Faith is in a place where there's a lot of flooding going on. Jacaranda Marie says, do you think part of the exhaustion could be due to us grounding light through our bodies onto Gaia? I experienced it last week on vacation. Yeah, for sure. The thing is, how it works is when the light's moving through us is when these other densities can move through and out of us. And so it's like this cyclical thing where it looks a lot like how the light moves from God to Gaia and back again, like that. And that's what's happening. So as these densities are moving through us, for sure, we're pulling in more light. And yeah, exactly. Good call. Nicole, I'm interested to know if you know some light workers not following their paths. I think that everyone follows their path, whether they realize they're doing it or not. Sometimes our paths are lined out on purpose for us to deviate, or not even deviate. That's not detour. Where we go through sometimes it takes a lot longer for some individuals than others to do awakening, as an example. And that is due to the need to let more people see where to go. We are really the bridge people. And as we awaken, we are the example of awakening. And as we move through that energy, we're making it the path seen. It's as what it looks like, because it looks like floating water river thing, but it's not water. It's this beautiful energy that's also every color of the rainbow. And as we move through this rainbow as a bridge, each step that we take, all of a sudden others can see that part of the rainbow exists. Until we take the step, it's unperceivable for many. And so as we do that, that's some of us are drawn into a longer, drawn out awakening so we can show more people, is basically what. So I don't know. I feel like we all do our calling, just not even realizing it. When is it going to stop, if ever? I think that we are definitely changing and shifting through stuff, and it's nothing ever stops. That's the thing. But these particular ascension symptoms, yes, they will. As we're moving through and up, we move into a new experience and a new experience. That is one thing that never ends in all of these energies is forward motion. And it's beautiful. And as you move forward through it, we shed away these things. And some of these things, it's hard to recall what it's like to be in that experience until someone reminds you again. So yeah, we're definitely moving away and through it. And Venya says, Pamela, you are an amazing teacher. Yes, this is what I feel. Oh, thank you, Venya. Cool Deep, our body is just adjusting to this new energy. It helps to keep our vibration up. Yes, 100%. Jackie, I have to lay down. It's been a few days of fatigue. Yeah. I'm sorry, it's still flooding there. Faith, biggest floods in history in NSW, Australia. Prayers, welcome. Yeah. I'm sending energy and love your way for all of you, all that are affected in this flooding space right now, too. Jackie says, I'm sorry I missed the beginning. I'll watch the replay and see you tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. We are going to close up. I'm just going to read the last few comments. It's a soul's choice. It's not up to us to judge what someone's following their path looks like. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like that you want to do some guidance, and that's okay too. But, if it feels like that you stepped over a little bit too much, then step back, Some souls choose to take the longer path because they are here to learn. That's another important point. And Faith says, I have been through many storms, tower card moments. What grows in what has been cleared is always better. Jenny says, Faith, love to you and everyone. I love you too, and thank you all for joining today. I will do this again next Monday at the same time. I think we'll be doing it for a little while, for the next few weeks or so. And please, if you are interested, join us for our Zoom meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That goes until 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to join later, that's okay. It's a 3-hour meeting, and it's designed that way so more people can join. And if you could only come for a short time, that's perfectly fine. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to see you, Jacques Anna Marie. I've known her for a long time. It's really great to reconnect. And Faith, good to see you. Jenny, Jackie, everybody, I love you all. I will see you on the next transmission. You have a lovely day. I hope that you're having a lovely journey, and I will see you soon. Aho blessings.